I just look at it and I feel with Pogba, you know, regardless of all these issues, and you were talking before we got Stephen on about where you have a little bit of sympathy for him and maybe you were swaying on his side, and is that because Jose's not getting the best out of him in the style, the system? He's not feeling the love, etc. I think, again, go back 2 weeks and beyond, I think Paul Pogba just needs to look in the mirror and think, I'm capable of being in and around the best players in the world, because we've seen glimpses of it. And I do think they're only glimpses. They come and go. Last week being a prime example. People will say, yeah, but it was only young boys. But he has so much to his game. But the one thing that he doesn't have is a responsibility and a maturity, regardless of the manager on the sideline. He should be the best player for Man United week in, week out. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
No question, yeah.
But he doesn't do it. So all these exterior factors, obviously Mourinho's one, but there is others. It's just constant. And we'll go back to the commercial side of it. Yeah, I understand that. I'd get rid of both of them.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'd get rid of both of them.
Do you not think it's worth, if you had the opportunity, to see what Paul Pogba would be like under a different manager? Like under Maurizio Sarri at Chelsea, for example, you look at someone like Eden Hazard, let off the leash entirely, and look how well he's playing.
Yeah.
What would Paul Pogba be like without a leash on, basically?
I think he's been given too many opportunities. I really do, and I can't comprehend this. He's not been played in the right system, style, management. Look, I don't agree with what Mourinho's doing at the moment, but I want to go back to Man United. We didn't really finish up on that, so I was saying, did I say I'd get rid of both of them?
Yes, you just said that before we re-established Stephen Hunter.
So I would get rid of both of them, because when you look at Manchester United, you look at down through the years, Sir Alex Ferguson has had rife with certain players. He's had real bust-ups. He's always been the one in control. At the moment, it doesn't look like Mourinho's in control. Ultimately, the football club is bigger than those two on screen, Mourinho and Pogba. I've already said my piece on Pogba, that I think he flatters to deceive too often for me. He's got all the components to kick on and probably win a Ballon d'Or. Can't see it. Just can't see it. He may well prove me wrong if it all comes together and he matures a little bit. But with Mourinho, I think this sideshow and this circus is taken away from what's important, what's happening on Saturday, 3 o'clock on the pitch, although it's rarely Saturday, 3 o'clock. It was last week when I was there at Old Trafford to watch Wolves play them. And this is Manchester United now. Wolves, who aren't your typical team that just got promoted. We've spoken a lot about them. They're a dangerous outfit. Could have easily nicked the game. Really could have easily nicked the game with Traore coming on the last 15-20 minutes, causing a few problems on the counter-attack. But just within that game, like, plan B is Fellaini was like a yo-yo, starting in front of the back four against Watford. I can accept that because they played direct to Troy Deeney, screened that, okay. Against Wolves, they're not lumping the ball forward. You need mobile players. You need mobile midfielders to be able to stop that type of play that Wolves are doing. Flip side, they're trying to get back in the game. He puts them up into an advanced area, just playing off Lukaku. And it's direct football. Just playing up to Lukaku or Fellaini, second balls, knockdowns. This is Manchester United, Owen. Now, to a degree, I can accept it's a means to an end. The result is the be-all and end-all, and I'm a big one for that. Do what you need to do. But he's been in charge that long with this set of players. There should be more than that. Yeah. Really should.
So you're saying that Jose Mourinho went into the Wolves game not knowing how Wolves were going to set up, and that the Fellaini positioning would suggest that? Well, that's a huge oversight, really, isn't it?
Matic was suspended, so he is the one that you would put in there, mobility, strength, everything, their best holding midfielder without a shadow of a doubt. But when you put Fellaini in there, it's not his game, isn't it? Those little 5-10 yard darts when Wolves are on the ball with Moutinho and Neves playing those little through balls into Jota, who was out of this world.
Yeah.
Helder Costa, who fits in Spurs. They were lively. So they start wide, come in narrow into those areas where Fellaini was. And look, I'm not saying Fellaini had a bad game. He didn't actually have a bad game, and I'm not as big as fan. But you look at it and you think, this should be better. This should be set up in a better way to go and get a result. So when I look at it, there's a few options out there, isn't there? Zidane was in London yesterday. He's available. When I look at him and what he did at Real Madrid, I think if you just put him in charge of Manchester United right now, even if it was till the end of the season, although I'm not quite sure he would agree to that type of length of contract. What did he do at Real Madrid? he massaged egos. He told them how good they were. He didn't cause controversy.
Didn't overmanage.
Kept things simple. You don't need to. Take tactics out of the equation. Pick the 11 best players. Make the other ones happy. However you do that, tell them they're brilliant. They'll guarantee them game time in the cup, or your chance will come in 2-3 weeks. Stay with me. He instantly has that respect. They would play for him. At the moment, it's just one thing after another at Manchester United.
The thing is, bringing in someone like Zidane kind of needs to happen in January at the latest. Like, if the season deteriorates in the way it's going, and I don't mean deteriorating results-wise, I mean in terms of relationships, in terms of confidence, it could become too late. Like, can he repair someone like Alexis Sanchez's career next season if he keeps dwindling in the way he's dwindling? He might not have Paul Pogba to work with if Jose Mourinho stays for the full season. He might be gone in January. All of a sudden, like you talk about Real Madrid, Manchester United and that job that Zidane would then be walking into is a million miles away from the Ronaldo-led Real Madrid team that he walked into. So there's a danger there that Manchester United get them into a situation where they can't just copy that template and get themselves into a situation where they're challenging perhaps for the Premier League, because they're miles off the top of the Premier League right now.
But the template won't be the same as Real Madrid, because it has to be different, because he will have to bring different tactics to the equation, because they haven't got the Ronaldo, the Bale, the Isco, whoever it is, that the absolute magicians and world-class talent.
Can Sanchez be that person again?
He looks gone to me at the moment. Like, I have to be honest, he looks gone. And the more he's trying, because at times, in my opinion, he hasn't been trying, the more he tries, it looks like the worse he's getting. Like, he's forcing balls. He's coming in from the left-hand side and he's playing difficult balls. Like, obviously on a completely different level. Whenever I was struggling with my game, and he is clearly struggling with his, you've got to keep things simple. You've got to build that confidence up. How do you build it up? Performances, gradually. His position, a goal. Another way you build it up, your manager, arm around the shoulder, teammates getting around you. I don't see any of that happening.
No.
Coming off on Saturday, Mourinho didn't even embrace him as he was coming off. Just literally didn't even glare, just bang on the pitch, walks behind him. Nothing happening.
Just making things worse. Just on that Jose thing, and why I kind of felt a little bit sorry for Pogba before Sunday night, was just kind of the idea that Jose Mourinho and their relationship seemed to deteriorate on the basis of things that weren't about football. It was, I think, the whole explosion this week over the Instagram story is definitely resultant of a number of different things of that ilk. It is the off the pitch stuff that Jose Mourinho really dislikes. And to be honest with you, if I'm Paul Pogba, I'm like, screw you, Jose. This is a really important part of who I am. I am a mega star in my own right. Like, granted, this is
mono-day management, Don. This is
exactly,
you have to adapt. So the ones that don't adapt, they go backwards. The master of it was Sir Alex Ferguson. He didn't have to deal with this side of it, social media, FIFA, commercially. Commercially, he did, actually. That's wrong. But you have to evolve constantly. Mourinho's doing the same things now as he was doing 10 years ago. They're a different set of players with different morals on the game.
What I would say, the very basics of not undermining your manager still exists. And for Paul Pogba to go out on Sunday night, whenever those quotes emerged, and to say we should be attack.
Oh, he's been a disgrace.
Like that quote for me is the thing that's turned my opinion against Paul Pogba a little bit.
Before that, you were with him.
I was with Paul. Like, I genuinely, as I said, I'm generally on the player's side these days, because ultimately it's up to the manager to adapt to the players. It's always been about adapting to the best players you have at your disposal. You pick your formation based on the best players you have at your disposal. You pick your man management style based on the way your players react.
Don't manage them all the same.
Exactly. I had no sympathy really for Jose Mourinho in terms of the way that Paul Pogba was sort of blowing back with him, telling him to kind of calm it down maybe on the social media side. We don't know the full details of that just yet. But if you're getting tactical instructions off your players in the public domain, it's like, screw you. I mean, like, calm down a little bit. Seriously, calm down a little bit, Paul. You gotta get in line to a certain extent.
He ain't getting in line. I think it's not going to end well, this, is it? Let's be honest. For who, I don't know.